What's up, my people? It's your boy Kwame, the neighborhood neuroscientist, aka the Hood Neuro. I want to talk to you today about something very special to me. I have a lot of friends and family that I cherish, that are close to me, that are of quote-unquote alternative gender identities or sexual orientations. And I smile when I use that term, because alternative to what? You know, people make some assumptions about sexual identity, sexual orientation, and gender identity that are just patently false. The fact is, differing sexual orientations have been here since the beginning of time, you know, in the human journey. Further, they're conserved throughout the mammalian species. We see homosexual, heterosexual, omnisexual behavior in multiple species. So don't sit here and tell me that that's something that's a human construct. This is something that's natural. Further, you want to talk about gender identity or gender roles even. Yes, it's true that some animals have pretty well-defined gender roles, but other animals flip back and forth. So what's natural? Your sexual orientation and gender identity are a complex interaction between your nervous and endocrine systems, as well as your environment and your history and your family's history. All of that integrates, right, is integrated by your nervous system to form what you perceive as your sexual orientation or gender identity. To say that something that's a partly social and partly biological construct, and that is the union of a man and a woman to make a baby, that's the only option, flies in the face of biological evidence for every system imaginable. Just take this analogy. You're cool with like people being different heights, right? Like, you know, Dikembe Mutombo's bones are longer than mine, right? So he's taller than I am. So you are cool with like variance in that simple a set of traits, but not something as complex as the neuroendocrine and nervous systems interacting with your biological and genetic history and experience? Come on, man. Do you really think that? Or are you just trying to fool yourself to make your life seem more simple? Are you just trying to fool yourself into believing that you have the corner on all of humanity? It just does not work that way. Biological traits and behaviors are highly variable. PBS Independent Lens did a piece a while back that I'll include in this article, where they showed a map of acceptance throughout history of differing gender identities. And you know what's interesting about that map? If you look at a lot of those places, you'll see the phrase prior to colonization. So people thought this way and accepted multiple gender identities because of what they noticed about children as they were growing up before colonization. Well, why before colonization? Well, if you're going to build large armies and large agrarian societies, don't you want to create as many children as possible, especially in the face of high child mortality rates? So it would behoove you, if you're trying to set up a system like that, to make sure that men and women are coupling as much as possible. Well, homie, we have like 7 billion people plus. Don't you think it's okay to like slow down on that like a minute? You know, you got a lot of people out of work, all that kind of stuff, okay? So stop taking something that's exceedingly complex and trying to make it simple, and also step back a minute and realize that what you think is an imposition by media, maybe, you know, media is trying to make people gay, is a response to something that was imposed forcefully a long time ago in multiple societies that wanted to grab power. So before you make your judgment on what determines sexual orientation or gender identity, or whether it's natural or not, maybe take a look at all the factors first. And I would say be quiet for about 10 to 15 years, because that's how long it's taken me to get even close to a handle on what we even know about that yet. So chill, okay? Stop trying to tell other people how to live their lives and live yours, right? As we maintain our curiosity about the subject, we should study it more, but we do not know enough to dictate someone else's life, who they love, or who they identify themselves as.